Hello, and welcome to the Utah Green School's 2020-2021 Kickoff. We are so excited that your school is interested in becoming a Utah Green School. Throughout this webinar, we will share more information about the program and how you can apply. We really hope that we've made the application process easy and streamlined for you and your school to complete. So as you watch this webinar, you'll learn more about all of these pieces and a little bit more about the Utah Society for Environmental Education. So a little bit more about who we are. My name is Alex Popora, and I'm UC's Executive Director. We are the Utah affiliate of the North American Association for Environmental Education. We're one of 56 affiliates across North America, and our combined network reaches over 150,000 educators a year. What we do as an organization is we work to elevate environmental education in Utah. We do this by promoting excellence in environmental education and community engagement to connect all Utahns to their natural world. Throughout the year, we focus on a number of programs and ways that you can become engaged with us to help us elevate environmental ed in Utah. Some of those programs are our annual conference, which will be happening virtually this year, our awards and recognition program, where we award professionals and youth who are making great strides in the field of environmental education, professional development through Project Learning Tree, Project WET, and the North American Association for Environmental Ed Guidelines for Excellence, advocacy for sound environmental education programs, and funding, as well as community partnerships and programs. So Utah Green Schools falls under this community partnerships and programs, and it's one more way for us to achieve our mission and to help schools achieve their goals related to sustainability. One quick plug in regards to our advocacy work, we've recently released guidance around how to incorporate the outdoors and build relationships with community-based organizations to ensure that our school reopening is safe and equitable. You can learn more about our EE guidance by visiting our website, and that webpage is right there on the bottom. We're more than happy to help you implement environmental ed and outdoor and environmental education into your school day to make school opening a little bit easier for you, as I know things are very challenging right now. But on to our Utah Green Schools program. So we will have a special announcement for 2020-2021. I will go over what our Utah Green Schools program measures and what you will have to take into account as you're preparing your application, the timeline for the application, more information on how to complete your application, and additional information on Department of Education Green Ribbon Schools. So first, our special announcement for 2020 and 2021. While we had a number of schools indicate their interest in applying for last school year, with the abrupt closure of schools in March, we had very few applications, and that's totally understandable. So this year, we are announcing that our applications for 2020 and 2021 may include achievements from last school year. So meaning that this year's suite of applications will award schools for their efforts from 2019 through 2021. So please feel free to include achievements and things that you've done from 2019 on. So your application can encompass 2 full school years for this year's application. So please be sure to keep that in mind. We are well aware that the school year is very different for many schools and communities, and we wanted to take that into account and give each of you the opportunity to really share your achievements from 2019 through 2021. So that's our big announcement. So on to Utah Green Schools. Why should you even apply for this program or measure things that you've done since 2019? Our program measures 3 things, and these are the same 3 pillars that are part of the Department of Education Green Ribbon Schools. UGS measures your efforts related to sustainability, whether these are things like measuring your energy usage, having a recycling program through a program like Green Fiber, taking into account things like xeriscaping, so all of your sustainability measures. The second pillar is related to school health, including your students, faculty, and staff. So this may be even things as simple like access to recess, healthy school lunch, or access to a mental health program. And then finally, that incorporation of environmental education, sustainability education, and or community engagement. This last pillar can certainly include efforts related to STEM and the new SEED standards, but they can't be the only piece of this. We're really looking for more inclusive incorporation of environmental ed, sustainability education. This can also include outdoor ed. And what we measure within this category are even things like access for teachers to participate in teacher professional development. And so again, those three pillars are sustainability, school health, and incorporation of environmental ed or sustainability education. And those are the three pillars. And within each pillar, there are multiple categories. We always like to tell schools that likely these are things that you are already doing, and we want to award you for things that you already have in place. While the matrix, which I'll talk about in a little bit, is lengthy, it does capture many of the things that you may already be doing. So please consider this not as some other or a task that should seem like a heavy lift. With a small team, you can complete this application fairly easily and be awarded and recognized for things that your school is already doing. So a little bit more information about the timeline for Utah Green Schools. So the application will be available today, so you can visit our website to download that application. Schools have through April 2021 to submit a completed application. And again, this application can include efforts beginning in the 2019-2020 school year. The big caveat to this is if your school does wish to be considered for a Department of Education Green Ribbon status, you will have to have that application completed by January 2021. And this is so that we can get the paperwork and necessary signatures to submit this to the Department of Education. And we will provide more information about this pathway in December. So if you are interested in becoming a Department of Education Green Ribbon School, please let us know as soon as possible after you take a look at that matrix, and let us know so that we can start to work with your school on getting your application completed by January. Once you have your application completed, you'll simply submit it to director@uc.org, and our committee will go ahead and review those applications. So let's get into it. I've talked a lot about the application, but what does it actually look like, and how are we measuring those three pillars? So there are two parts to your Utah Green School application. We will upload all of this onto our website so you can download it easily, and everybody who signed up to participate in this webinar today will receive that application. So there's two parts, the matrix and the narrative application. The matrix is really the tool that you use to measure your achievement in each of those three pillars. And I will share a page of that tracking tool so you can see it. As we're looking at that matrix, there are really three tiers for each of the categories: as emerging, green, progressing, silver, and then advanced, which would be gold or green ribbon. So you'll go through that matrix and you'll determine what areas are you doing well in. So green, which areas are you maybe doing a little bit better in, so that silver or progressing level, and then what areas are you doing an amazing job in, your advanced category. If you are clicking off a ton of the advanced categories, you may certainly be eligible for that green ribbon school status. Emerging and progressing are categories where you can be considered for Utah Green Schools. And if you're not clicking off any of the items in those categories, don't fret. Think about those categories as a place for you to set goals in as a school for your application next year. So you are required to submit a narrative application, but again, the matrix is the tool that you use to complete your narrative. And we have shifted from having schools simply submit a matrix or a survey to this narrative, because the narrative tool is something that we can easily share with other schools, and you will have access to two applications so that you can review what an application actually looks like. And we've also learned from our schools that have utilized that narrative application that it's a great tool for storytelling for your school. So you can easily pull out pieces of that narrative to share with your community One of our past Green Ribbon schools also indicated that the narrative application has been a useful tool for them in applying for grants and thinking about strategic directions for their schools. Once you have the narrative and matrix application in hand, one of the things that we really encourage you to do is develop a team to complete the required information. This may likely take overlap from teachers, administrators, and even facility staff to answer some of these questions. And yes, we know the matrix is long. It is 22 pages. A lot of that's due to formatting because it's a large spreadsheet. But please don't be discouraged or overwhelmed. The length of this application is really meant to be there for you to be as comprehensive as possible. We want you to capture all of the information around what your school is doing related to those 3 pillars. There's a lot of different categories, a lot of places where we know you will be doing an amazing job, and some places where you may have some questions or want to reach out to us. So again, you know, we're aware that the matrix is lengthy, but please do not be discouraged. Use this as your framing tool to make that narrative as robust as possible. And we will share some previous examples so that you can see what a completed application looks like. So here's a sample of what that matrix looks like. And I've just pulled out the very first questions around sustainability in that first pillar. So as we look at this matrix, we've have our objectives, so the things that we're asking you to look at and to measure. So one example, energy is derived from renewable resources. And there's really no categories for that, emerging or progressing, but you can go straight to advanced. If you know that your school uses some renewable fuel sources, you would simply check those off and indicate if you track that percentage. And then you'd use this information in your narrative application. For tracking energy data and earning Energy Star certification, again, emerging would be, do you have a system to track energy usage? Yes, would certainly put you in this emerging green category. If you are tracking your energy usage, that would put you right there in progressing. And advanced would be is if you've already earned that Energy Star certification and how you're measuring your energy output. So again, the matrix is a little bit lengthy, but it's meant to be clear and answer questions that are kind of yes or no. Is this something you're doing? Is this something you're not doing? Are you tracking data points? And then you will use this information to complete your narrative. So Department of Education Green Ribbon Schools. If you find yourself going through that matrix and clicking off that advanced category in a number of different pillars, we would highly suggest that you apply to become a Department of Education Green Ribbon School. This is the highest recognition a school can achieve for their efforts in these 3 pillars. As of last year, we currently have 2 schools in Utah that are recognized as Department of Education Green Ribbon Schools, and that's Bonneville Elementary in Salt Lake City School District and Wasatch Academy, which is a private school. As a state, we can submit up to 5 applications for consideration. This includes 1 private school, 1 institution of higher learning, so a college. We can apply for 1 district as a whole, and a public school, so our public and charter schools qualify. There is 1 caveat to that, in that this program does look to recognize all schools, including our underserved schools. So when we're looking at that public school category, say for example, we're submitting 1 private school and 1 public school, and the rest of those 3 public schools would have to be Title I schools or have a higher percentage of free and reduced lunch. So they want to make sure that schools that are being recognized, we're honoring not only the schools that have the resources to achieve these, but schools that come from a variety of different communities that are achieving these pillars and metrics in creative and innovative ways. If you're interested in learning more about the Green Ribbon Schools, you can visit this website. The really nice thing about the Department of Education Green Ribbon Schools program is that all of the applications are available for you to view. And you can also view the two Utah applications to see. I think they're really nice complements to each other, as we have one public school and one private school. And it gives you kind of a wide breadth of examples of things that schools are doing to demonstrate achievement in all of these pillars. So if you'd like to see those examples, again, you can visit the Department of Education Green Schools website, or you can contact me. The really great thing about having the narrative application is they are much easier for us to share with everybody who applies. So you can really kind of see what schools are doing and read in their own words the stories that are coming out of their schools. And hopefully that might give you some ideas for things that you can do to demonstrate success in each of these pillars. So just a couple things that we would also like to mention as we're thinking about this program and recognition is some of the ways in which becoming a Utah Green School can support the science with engineering education standards, since we know these are relatively new. So environmental education and Utah Green Schools and some of our professional development like PLT, Project Learning Tree, support our new state science standards. So when we're looking at things like phenomena and having students actually measure data, there really is no better place than the schoolyard to start. So even looking at things like that energy metric that we were looking at earlier, having students conduct an energy audit or understanding where energy comes from in their school can help to meet some of the state standards. So this program is really meant to complement a lot of the work that you all are already doing in school rather than being something additional. Environmental education and the UGS program is an easy way to demonstrate the 3 dimensions of learning and phenomena, especially having students tackle a problem at their school or understand things that are happening at their school is a really great way to tie all of this into real world issues and solutions. And again, this professional development piece, as we're looking at pillar 3, having educators participate in professional development around environmental education and sustainability, we're here to help you meet those needs. And that's a need that you identify if you're looking at professional development and say, all right, well, this is something that we're kind of emerging on and we could use some assistance. We're able to provide professional development, which is all online right now, so educators can complete it in their own time and at their own pace at a really steeply discounted price. So please don't hesitate to reach out. If you also need some of the places where the standards actually align with some of the things in this application, please also feel free to reach out. We've pulled out a number of those standards and are more than happy to demonstrate some curriculum ideas and case studies on how you can use UGS to meet the needs of SEED. We also wanted to highlight some of the benefits of learning outdoors, since this comes up in a handful of places across this application. So both in student health and again, that environmental education and sustainability piece. This is also something that we've highlighted in our environmental education guidance document that I referenced earlier in this webinar. So the outdoors are a resource for learning, engagement, and health. I'm more than happy to share and post a link to some of the research that's been done around the benefits of environmental education and how it can help support not only student achievement, but as we're looking at student health, as we're also looking at both mental health and well-being, the outdoors are able to provide a myriad of benefits beyond just academics. We know that our students are currently being impacted by COVID-19, and being outdoors provides one resource for both stress relief, making learning feel more tangible, possibly getting away from behind a computer screen if that's where they're engaging in most of their learning. We also know, just from some of the research that's currently been conducted, is that rates of COVID-19 transmission are lower outside. So there's never been a better opportunity to test out building an outdoor classroom or learning outside and seeing how that can possibly benefit your school day. And we're more than happy to help you and your school as you're thinking about incorporating some of those elements, either for your Utah Green Schools application or thinking about learning long-term. We would love to help you think about how you can incorporate more outdoor learning to support your students. So again, this timeline, the application will be available today, so you can go ahead and take a peek at that and get started. Now that the application is available, once you get your hands on it, you are more than welcome to start working on it. And again, you may count your achievements from 2019 on. So we're looking at 2 school years. You have through April 2021 to submit a completed application. This is for a school that wishes to be considered for just our general Utah Green School status. As you're going through that matrix, if you are ticking off more of those advanced categories, you should certainly think about being considered for Department of Education Green Ribbon status. You must complete your application by January 2021 to be a part of this cohort. If you are interested in this, again, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. So you can email me with your questions, your completed applications, your questions about Department of Education Green Ribbon schools. Please do not hesitate to reach out and just send all that information to director@uc.org. So again, for more information, feel free to visit our website or send me an email. In the notes on this video, I will include not only the link to our website, but the link to the Department of Education Green Ribbon Schools so you can access those applications. And I'll also include some additional information around the benefits of environmental education if you need to make a case for this at your school. So again, thank you so much for considering becoming a Utah Green School. We know that the application is a little bit lengthy, but we hope that we've streamlined this process and made it easy for you to apply. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, and we're really looking forward to helping you and your school achieve their goals as they're related to sustainability, student health, and environmental education. Thanks so much, and we look forward to hearing from you.